A good fish diet, you may be surprised to hear, contains no beef heart. The original research was, believe it or not, done in the late 1920s and first published in 1929 in the Government Fisheries Journal. Beef heart can be used as an extender. Liver is probably the only single warm-blooded animal product that's of any value. You can raise fish pretty well on liver. A combination of liver and egg in an omelet is quite a good diet, quite a good basic diet for fishes. When you bring in the marine fish, they want a much better fatty acid profile. But so do discus, so do a lot of freshwater fish. So what you get involved with is sea products, and the type of flesh that was proven to be the best was clams, actually. Mollusk. So mollusk is your number one choice. Equal to that is whole fish, fatty fish, cold water fish. And then you have crustaceans, your shrimps, your krills, your mysis. So the way I handle it all is I try to create an optimum diet. In other words, something that will grow a very picky species like a tuna fish or a discus is good enough for things that are less nutritionally demanding. You can always go down, but if you're not up in the beginning, you have to realize when a female fish drops an egg, she has put every bit of nutrition into it that she can manufacture in her own body. If there's something missing as that egg develops, when it reaches a point of needing, say, lysine, which is a protein, that baby's going to die or become malformed at best. Beef heart's famous for that. Beef heart is very much famous for that. You can ameliorate that by using beef heart as an extender to a seafood diet. But even beef heart's ridiculous, because if you do a side-by-side with beef heart and lean beef, such as round roast, you'll get the same result. If you mix half beef heart and liver, you won't do too badly. Or round roast and liver, you won't do too badly. But that can't be any more than half of a good diet. As far as vegetable matter and diets, forget about it. Vegetable matter, plant cell, sugars, perhaps a little bit of fat. Algae are slightly different, but basically it's carbohydrates. Fish have no carbohydrate requirement, none, zero. Even your so-called herbivorous fish, they are eating plant matter sometimes for a reason you don't even conceive of. I just read a paper that came out very recently from the university, the Central University of Venezuela's fisheries department on pacus. And it was very interesting. The black pacu, which everybody thinks is an herbivore, because indeed it does eat plant matter if you feed it to it, but it's not being nourished by the plant matter. The fish is digesting the microbes in the water and in the plant matter. and they do perfectly fine without ever having the actual plant. And the same thing with discus. When you see discus nipping at plants, they're really going for the things that you can't see, that are dwelling upon it, the rotifers or whatever it may be. Because eating is a search for protein. It's never a search for carbohydrates. Never, 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 never. Fish have absolutely no carbohydrate requirement. Some plant matter has a functional use. Like in humans, we need the roughage. We need the roughage so our food goes smoothly through our intestine. We call it fiber. But nutritionally, you don't need it. So, what I do is I aim to make the diet for the most critical dietary need. And it's easily adjusted. It's very easily adjusted. It takes a while to make. I'm not going to have the time now to go into where to source everything. I can save that for a website to come or another video. But basically, the other thing that I'm going to avoid, aside from beef heart, is I'm going to avoid these gels, these alginates, these agars, these gelatins, anything that's processed by heat. Number one, they're at best junk proteins. Most of them, the alginates, are the carrageenans and the algal extracts and the bean, the guar gum, all the various gums. These are sugars and starches. Fish has no use for it. And heat destroys the value of the rest of your ingredients. You can't put a probiotic in it. And people who advertise probiotics in pelletized foods and plate foods and whatever, they're dead. They're dead after processing, unless they're top coating, which is a whole other story. The other thing is you hear about using spirulina and algae, aside from the fact that commercial fish foods have algae generally grown in swamps as opposed to, lab-grade stuff. Because lab-grade spirulina, for example, microencapsulated spirulina, costs way more than people are willing to pay for fish food. These algae are totally denatured by the heat processing. So you spill hot water on your mixture, just forget about some of the ingredients you spent a lot of money or a lot of effort to put in. So what I use is a cold binder. Things that bind are proteins. Proteins, if they're fresh, will start to denature and coagulate and become sticky if you shred them with one of this type of a boomerang blade that you'll find in a food processor. A blender blade is not as good. You should do your fish food. You want to keep protein shredded. You want to keep it sticky. Another good binder is wheat gluten. That's the gold standard. It's relatively expensive. It's almost totally usable protein by the fish, like up by 99%. And they don't get celiac disease like people do. So the gluten-free, it doesn't bother a fish. So gluten is probably your best cold binder. You can use flours of various things. You can use everything from chickpea flour to tapioca flour to rice flour. Potato flour is in fashion now because it's sticky and cheap. Oatmeal. You can use any of that stuff, but it just doesn't compare to wheat gluten, which is a purified protein from wheat. All of these flours don't contain the protein levels. You're just giving them starches.